Hi, Todd Pouliot, Gateway Financial. Again, mygatewaymoney.com. Join us and send us your email or connect with us, whatever you need to do to learn more information about what we discuss here. And today is a great video that I love this flow chart because it doesn't have numbers in it. There are a flow chart organization that we take the logic statement of yes, no, and we usually try to find an end game to the issue at matter. But this flow chart is different because it may send you away from this flow chart. It may send you in different directions. And this is a very big issue that most people do not talk about until the end is near. And one of those issues that we want to talk about is paying off the mortgage. Should I pay off the mortgage? And buying a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. But very few people talk about how big of a decision it is to pay off your home. And there's a lot of disagreement on this topic. And we find that our clients feel lost or uncertain about what they should do. And what we have with this flow chart, it just helps us guide the conversation. And it helps our clients gain more of a nuanced understanding of why and why not to consider paying off their mortgage. Again, we're not going to talk about numbers here because I think the numbers aspect of paying off your mortgage is below some of the other issues that we're going to talk about, because yes, numbers matter, but ultimately in financial planning, one of the things that we see is we're not just taking a picture. A picture is just a moment in time. What we want to look at is the entire movie of your life, and financial planning as we go along allows you to pivot. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in this flow chart is some of the pivot points. And that's why this flow chart sends you in other directions. And it's important to cover these four main areas today. So the four main areas that we're going to talk about is weighing the pros and cons involved in this big decision and how they specifically relate to your financial situation. We want to recognize the degree of flexibility that may or may not have after paying off the mortgage. Consider the tax implications that may result from paying off the mortgage, and identify sound reasoning for paying off the mortgage and determining the best course of action if it's applicable. So as we always do, we're sharing our screen with you to give you the information we have. So again, we're going to start with that first logic question. Do you have other higher priority debts? For example, higher interest rates or relative cash flow burden in addition to your mortgage? If that answer is yes, we want to send you somewhere else. We want to send you away from this flow chart. We want to look at the flow chart. Should I pay off my debts? And that is a good topic just to stop on and say, listen, I don't like debt in this room. And when we get people and we want to talk on Zoom or we meet face to face, we want to look at, hey, do you have any debts? And most people say no. And then I ask them, do you have a mortgage? Do you have this? Do you have this? And then things kind of change, or we want to reveal those other debts. I'm not saying mortgage debt is bad. What I want to talk about is, do you have other higher priority debts, student loan debts, or other HELOCs, or other things that are out there? And if so, go to these other flow charts. Then let's say no. We're really focused here. Do you have enough liquid assets to pay your mortgage debt in full? Let's go down this side and say no. If applicable, do you have enough liquid assets to pay down your mortgage enough to eliminate any PMI? First of all, I don't want to see PMI. PMI is just a negative expense that goes right to the bank. They're taking the burden of their bad mistake to offer you a loan that you probably shouldn't have gotten in the first place, and taking that burden and putting it on you. That is a revenue generator for the bank, period. That does nothing to help you in your personal financial situation. We want to look at maybe refinancing. And one of the reasons we want to look at that, over the last few years, home rates have accelerated. And you may not be in the position to pay PMI anymore, because your debt on that versus what the value of your home is versus your mortgage balance may be vastly different than it was when you originally got the mortgage. So I don't want to see PMI. And if we do, let's look at how to eliminate that. And can we refinance the mortgage to decrease the payment and lock in a lower interest rate and or pay off it sooner? If that answer is yes, of course, I'm sending you away again. See another flow chart. Should I consider refinancing my mortgage? And we'll look at that flow chart instead of this. If the answer is no, continue saving more and waiting until your available refinance options improve. Okay, so we've gone down this and we've sent you away 3 different times. Let's look at yes. I do have enough liquid assets to pay the mortgage. Will you have an adequate emergency fund after paying down the mortgage? If that answer is no, with an increased cash flow from paying down the mortgage, will you be able to replenish your emergency fund relatively quickly? Maybe not. Consider keeping your emergency fund and funding for other short-term goals intact, especially if replenishing them would be a challenge. Again, for us, that 3 years, 1 to 3 years is short term. So again, we're just going to come back up and say, yes, we do have the emergency fund. We do have the liquid investments. If applicable, will you have enough money for other important previously earmarked short-term goals? If the answer is no, with an increased cash flow, since you're not paying off that mortgage, will you be able to replenish the funds? If the answer is no, we come back to, hey, consider keeping your emergency fund. If the answer is yes, this is the part I love to talk about, because this is about, hey, being able to sleep at night. There is no monetary numeric value on being able to sleep at night. Would paying down your mortgage provide meaningful and compelling benefits to your personal life and financial situation? For example, cash flow increase, guaranteed interest, PMI save, reduction in stress, increase in happiness. Boy, how do we put increase in happiness on a spreadsheet? So difficult. And is that more important to you than the higher potential upside of other investments? Well, 3.5% on my mortgage and the market returns 10%. These are not discussions about numbers. These are discussions about happiness and cash flow and other areas of the financial plan. So be cognizant of this. Is my favorite part of this whole flow chart. Now, again, I will tell you from the statistical side what I think, but we need to really concentrate on the human being here for financial planning. That's why this is a human relationship, to let people know what we're talking about with financial planning. So yes, would paying it down provide you with the more compelling benefits? When sourcing the funds to pay down your mortgage, will there be any tax consequences that negatively impact the components of your financial plan? Crossing the AGI or modified AGI thresholds, loss of credits or deductions. This is where having tax planning in your financial plan come into play. Again, look at that. Do you have those sources that negatively impact? Do the benefits of paying down your mortgage outweigh the cost of any associated tax consequences? What are those tax consequences of pulling out of your money out of a 401k, taking all that and paying the income tax and possibly a penalty? That is something I don't want to see, because once those tax dollars are spent, they are gone. They're gone forever, and we cannot get those back. So if so, come down here and look at the appropriate other ways. Open a HELOC. Something I did not write in here, but I do like a lot, is security-backed line of credit. They're so much easier and typically less expensive than a HELOC. Or a reverse mortgage line of credit. So look at those other assets or other ways to get those monies. And down on the other side for no, consider paying down your mortgage in part or in full if it makes sense for your personal and financial goals, if it makes sense. So be careful with all this flow chart, where it goes to and what it means. Again, I don't want to say that paying off your mortgage is wrong or paying off your mortgage is right. Yes, we can run it through the spreadsheet. We can run it through and how to get out of debt and figure it out. Sometimes it feels better to sleep at night knowing you've got that title in your hand for the home. Just like paying off a car. Once you pay off a car, you get the title and you no longer have that car payment. It allows you greater cash flow. And that means a lot to people. So getting out of debt is very important. How you get out of debt is also important. Looking at those tax implications and does it make sense for my cash flow and my short-term goals of 1 to 3 years, and also my emergency fund. We really appreciate you coming back and understanding that all of these flow charts are not singular. Sometimes they go out just peeling away the different layers of the onion and looking at financial planning. We want to know what is all going on with the financial plan. And most importantly, it's not a one decision, one answer, and that's the thing that we're going to do. We want to be able to pivot. We want to be able to have the ability when life changes to be able to do things with financial planning. So thanks again so much to our subscribers who come back. Thanks again to those that hit that thumbs up. Really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And we appreciate you ringing that bell and get notified when we bring you these new videos. And I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Thanks again and be well.